Hey everyone, Internet PCS book reader here. Today I want to talk about The Little Coffee Shop of Kabul by Deborah Rodriguez. The author of this book is apparently the writer of another memoir a few years ago that has gone a bit viral called The Beauty Shop of Kabul, which I will talk about more later. But first, let's try to get into the story. The story starts with Yasmina going on a walk with her sister Laila one Friday morning in Afghan before some man comes to take her away from her family to be forcefully married to another man since her husband has passed away. Meanwhile, in another place in Afghan, an American named Sunny is opening a coffee shop. And while Sunny was trying to visit the ministry to get a better relationship that will help with her store, she met Yasmani, who is currently at the point of being abandoned because she was found pregnant from her previous husband. Sunny then took Yasmani in as an employee in the coffee shop. There's actually a lot of characters in the story. Besides Yasmina and Sunny, there's Ahmed and Hadi that works in the coffee shop, his mother Halajan, Sunny friend Jack, the freelancer journalist Isabel, and the story will follow these people along with Candace and his bad husband and the rise of Taliban in the country. And that's about the basic of the story. The storytelling itself is generic, and somehow for a story set in the war-torn Afghan, it's really boring. Everyone has their own romance. All of the characters I mentioned above, although they have a different route to their own romance, but it felt really monotone and repetitive when it feels like a high school romance plot, but instead of in high school, it's in another country that has a lot of unsolved problems still. The main character, which by the way is Sunny and not Yasmina, had a love triangle and maybe even quadruple with her boyfriend that hasn't appeared for a long time named Tommy, and while he was away, Sunny is getting closer with another man who goes to the cafe often. It's a married man named Jack. There is no chemistry at all between these three, and this is despite Sunny being the character that got the most screen time. There's also another romance between Halajan, the old lady who took care of the house where the coffee shop is. She also had a romance with Rasif that is considered against tradition in Afghan. There's also no chemistry here except what the book tried really hard to tell us it exists. Rasif just stood around in the market giving Halajan letters that she cannot read, and she for some reason keep going back to getting those letters in the market. It's basic romanticization of romance. Then there's Yasmani and Ahmed, two characters that felt the most like they don't have proper development. After Yasmani worked in the coffee shop, the focus shifts to Sunny, the main character from America. So she become kind of a background character that will try to hide her pregnancy every time she appeared, and not much else. Ahmed apparently should have been Yasmani's romance partner that changed his stance on some of Afghan tradition, but since there's no proper time put in both Yasmani and Ahmed, we are just suddenly told that he has feeling for her out of nowhere, and he cannot stop thinking about Yasmani and her eyes and her wrists. Candace is just there to give reason to hate the antagonist even further. She's a naive and wealthy woman that married the antagonist of the story, Wakil. She was used and then abandoned by Wakil, and that's that for her. And lastly, the journalist Isabel don't really have any romance, who become the only character that died in the story, because I guess she doesn't have any romance. Then the story ends abruptly with some of the characters getting married, and then the shop move owner and Sunny move back to America. Everything is so rushed, so I guess it's only fitting that the ending is also rushed. It also doesn't help that the dialogue is ass. Every single one of these characters feels like they're reading a script when they're talking, so they don't really feel like much of a character that when any of them died, I don't really feel any loss towards the character. In fact, none of the characters really feel the loss. There's a single scene about it and then that's about it. And the book also carried a weird vibe to it. While it tried to highlight a few of the culture in Afghan and the problem that women and men face there, and there are parts that I think is handled quite well, but a lot of the time it feels like a romanticization of having a romance in the war-torn Afghan. And since I don't know how much the author self-insert herself into the story, reading the whole thing just feels icky. It also emphasized too much on how a lot of the Afghan are the victim of oppression without balancing it with how much the people there are fighting against the tyranny of their own government. For example, Malala Yousafzai's father, Ziauddin, is one of the many people that are active in helping everyone get equal education there. I think the author also somewhat knew that a lot of people there are fighting for these changes, since she also put Malala Joya, one of the prominent Afghan activists, in a scene, albeit very briefly, and kinda dismissively because she was just there as basically a cameo that came into the coffee shop to talk. And Ahmed already deemed her as a danger to the people there, which is especially weird since Sunny, the American girl, has done some dubiously dangerous things that is unchecked by him. In her introduction, Sunny was introduced as the American woman who are brave, courageous, and slightly reckless, and will stand up for herself in spite of the danger of weapons like guns and bombs. Honestly, a lot of parts of the book really feel like they need more thoughts put into, especially if you want to highlight a culture of a place like Afghan. At the end of the book, there's a brief mention about the author's life, which also tackles the memoir that I mentioned at the start of the video. She was doing a volunteer work who was supposed to bring doctors, and for better or worse, she went and inserted herself into the situation despite not being a doctor. She arrived at Afghan and helped with laundry, etc., and then found a place that opened a beauty salon and then helped out there. Her first book, which is her memoir, is apparently her life there, but even this had a lot of weird things surrounding it, which I will mention about later. The book and the author, well, I'm sure she means well from what I've searched online, brings a very, let's just say, Western perspective for a lack of better word. But she did get married, have children, and live in Afghan for 5 years. Although she admits that she cannot speak the language still after all those years, which is understandable, learning language is difficult after all. But it did make her have a very limited social life there, especially since men and women social life there are a bit more limited. So I have no idea how much of the culture she is aware of. And while researching a little bit further about the memoir, I found a few old news that said that the people from the beauty salon said she exaggerates her involvement in the beauty school in Kabul and that they haven't received any compensation from her. And those news did not have any update regarding the money situation that is put on paper. It kinda reminds me of the tourist activism done in Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert while the author was in Bali. It's also weird that all her books are about white people in other countries that are still developing. Besides the 3 books set in Kabul, there's the Zanzibar Wife in, well, Zanzibar, island in the edge of the world, which is in Haiti, and the Moroccan Daughter set in Morocco, which I know might just be nothing. I just think it's a weird pattern of behavior. I did not even know that white people adventure in developing countries is a genre. But other than that, a lot of the info surrounding her is just hearsay and rumors and from dubious website. So I want to give her the benefit of the doubt and just say that most likely she did mean well with the book. But it does feel kind of weird that she's milking the situation in a lot of these developing countries for money. Maybe it's for her charity foundation, Oasis Rescue, that has not been rated yet on Charity Navigator. I was really hoping for a more light reading that I can get some rest, but instead I got this weirdly inappropriate story set in the war zone of Afghan. I think you can still just read it as a fiction while ignoring or not knowing about some of the weird and dubious aspect of the storytelling, but I would rather suggest stories like The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini, which, unlike what the review at the cover said, is a much better written story. Then there's Home Fire by Camila Chamissier, one of the best books I read this year. And then My Pen is The Wing of a Bird, which is a collection of short stories from Afghan women. For the overall writing of the book itself, it's nothing great. It's basically the equivalent of a Netflix original movie that you put into your watch list and then let it sit there for years because it was never mentioned again after some time has passed. I give this a 1. What do you think? Are you gonna read it? Did I miss anything? Leave your thoughts in the comment below and subscribe to the channel. That's about it.